morning. So I was thinking last night, I was planning and preparing for our live class today, and I realized I'm going to be doing this 5 times, and I'm sure that some of you are not going to log on right away. So what I decided to do, instead of a normal live class today, where I walk you through setting up your binder, I'm going to make a video, post it to YouTube, and then you can watch it as many times as you need to make sure that you get everything organized the way it should be. So hopefully you have purchased everything on your school supply list. I'm not going to go through and, say, this is a pen, this is a pencil. You guys already know that stuff. So what I do want to focus on is setting up our binders, specifically the active first, then the archive. And then I'm going to talk briefly about your composition notebook and your prong folder. So let's get started. So here I have my 1-inch, I think it's a little bit thicker than a 1-inch, but my 1-inch binder. This is going to be my active binder. I haven't had any time to decorate, so what I'm going to do is obviously decorate it, and then I will post pictures or something to you guys later. But I got one of those with those slip pockets, so I can change out, draw a cool picture of whatever unit we're on, doesn't matter. Or if you're a little disorganized, maybe you're in a hurry to leave class and you don't have time to put stuff in pockets, you just shove it in here and organize it later. Now, do I recommend that? No, not at all, but life happens. So inside our handy dandy binder, you should have 5 tabs. It's going to be a little bit difficult to see possibly. So you should have maps as your first tab, notes as your second, and as you can see, I've already put in my notes here from yesterday. You should have a vocabulary tab, a handouts tab, which, hey, I've got my handouts from yesterday too. Snazzy. And then the last tab I'd like you to have in your active binder, it's going to be study guides and test and quizzes. Now, I realize I went fairly quickly, so in Teams, I'm posting a PowerPoint that lists each tab specifically so you know what to, first of all, what to write, but also how to spell it if that's an issue. So this is your active binder. When we go to in-person instruction, this is what you bring to class every single day. Super weird, like talking to a camera and not people because I don't know where to look or put my hands. Anyways, that's your funny, weird Miss Fabre anecdote for today. This beauty is my archive binder. So pretty, I know. So this is my 3-inch binder that I'm using as my history textbook. Now, just shuffle things around a little bit. For our class, I have purchased this book among many other on my bookshelf, which you can't see. And so when I'm preparing my lectures for class, I'm reading these textbooks and I'm condensing the information into PowerPoints and slides, so that way it saves you time. This has a lot of great information, but it's also really dense, meaning it's got so many extra details. And so when you just need to know certain logistics for your pre-comps and comps, I find it easier to just, I do the work, the research, I put it together in a presentation, and then have you take notes on it. So that's why we don't have a textbook for this class. Instead, you have this. So throughout the year, as we finish our units, you're going to be adding your notes, well, I should say transferring your notes from your active binder to your archive binder. You're going to do that when I tell you to do so, because we might not be finished with a unit yet, and so I still want you to have your notes in your binder to complete a study guide or to review, or maybe we're going to have an open note test or quiz and you need your notes. So please don't transfer things until you've been given a table of contents. That being said, this is from last year. It needs a little bit of reorganizing, but you should have 8 tabs. I have all sorts of different weird mix matching tabs. So you have like little white tabs and you have the orange ones. Anyways, you should have 8 tabs in this binder. If I decide to split up units throughout the year, more than 8, what I will do is I will provide you with that extra tab, so don't stress about it. So you should have 8 binder tabs, okay? And if you want to go ahead and label them ahead of time, you're more than welcome to. They are just labeled based off of unit. So you're going to label them unit 1, and then all the stuff I'll have you put in there. Unit 2, Unit 3, so on and so forth. Again, you can decorate your binder however you want to. I, again, have not decorated mine. I really haven't taken much time or effort to do that, so maybe I should. But anyways, it's one of those hard binder covers, so you need it to be a hard binder. It doesn't have to have this little plastic covering if you don't want it to. But your archive is 3 inches. It's going to stay at home. So that covers our binders. Pretty simple, pretty easy. The reason why I had you get a 3-prong folder is because what I like to do is create study guides at the end of each unit that you will also use for your pre-comp and your comp. So what I did last year is I gave you the entire study guide at the beginning of the year. I put it in your 3-prong folder. So this one's clearly from a student from last year. So they filled out their answers. So what I have you do is at the end of each unit, you're going to answer the questions based off of that unit. That way, when pre-comps come around, and I'm not saying that anybody, would do this, but you've forgotten basically everything you've learned up into the most recent unit, you don't have to stress about going back through all of your notes and trying to figure out what was the answer to that. You've already answered it when that material was fresh in your mind. So you don't have to second guess. So the 3-prong folder is for your pre-comp and comp study guide. It can look like this. It can have, I have some kids that have like kittens riding donuts in space, whatever. The big thing is it has to have the 3 prongs. You see it? I'm not very good at this whole camera thing. The 3 prongs here, right? Like so. So I can put in your study guide once we go back to live instruction, or if you continue online, I can mail it to you and you can do it yourself. The last big thing I wanted to go over was our composition notebook. I prefer this one versus a spiral because spiral you're more tempted to rip paper out and use it for other classes. This is going to be your primary source composition notebook as well as Do Now notebook. So this will come in handy a lot since we're online. But once we get back to in-person instruction, you'll leave these in the classroom. And so what I'll do is I will post pictures like so, like that. And so some days for your Do Now, you'll actually have a primary source or a puzzle put into your composition notebook, and all you have to do is just answer it. Other times, this is an example of a primary source or a DBQ. Other times, I might just project, a writing prompt on the board, and I'll say, all right, turn to the next clean page and answer the prompt. So these are our class materials that you're going to be required to use for world history and geography. If you have any questions, please revert to our questions channel in our Teams page. But other than that, that's about it. Thanks for watching.